What's up? Happy Sunday, Sooner Nation. Welcome to the Sooner Surge. Thanks for being on here. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Make sure you check out the fan stop at thefanstop.com. You can see the hat Jay's wearing. I got mine here. It's the official upside down Longhorn hat. It's officially OU Texas week, and OU's got a bye week. Texas has a bye week.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know when the last time was both teams had a bye week entering Red River rivalry, but it's here. We got Steve Stutzman joining us. Thanks for joining us. I know it's been crazy. You're out in Florida, the weather situation, going to Auburn. Thanks for taking time to join with us tonight. Steve, just start off. Talk about the environment there at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Hey guys, appreciate you having me on. No, with the weather and all that, we're like, man, we're gonna get this thing in. But if we weren't flying out, we'd have been driving. So I wasn't worried at all. Got a little weather, nothing big. So all turned out good, man. I tell you what, we get up there, it was weather was nice, fall weather. I tell you what, Auburn is a beautiful campus, and the game day atmosphere was just electric, man. There is tailgating. Right up against the stadium. It seems like we had to park like a mile away, and it was tailgates everywhere, and people just very, very hospitable, just welcoming. Hey, welcome here. Hope you have a good time, and it was awesome. It was even when you got inside the stadium, just the things that they did it was a jam-packed house. So it was just awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's even. I mean, you look at when we can talk about the game, but overall, you look at you know Michael Hawkins' first game, true freshman in that environment, not to have a turnover and make some plays like he did, big plays, just huge for this team to get this W. Huge.
Oh man, it was. We're not gonna. I don't think anybody's sugarcoating it. The both sides of the ball didn't really play their best, and if up until about 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, man, it was not looking good for Oklahoma. That's for
No.
sure. But for the young man to come up, Michael Hawkins come in, not commit a turnover or play, he seemed very poised. I mean, if you watched him,
Yeah.
let me tell you, when I'm telling you that place was loud, it was loud for him to uh, really get down there, make sure the guys could hear him. I think we had some penalties, but I don't think it was because the guys could hear him or they were false, jumping off sides because they couldn't hear the snap count. They had a silent snap count. I thought they
hmm
they did that very well, and kudos to them. We saw some good stuff along with some mediocre play on both sides.
Yeah, I know the pick six. Obviously, OU goes from a 90% chance to lose the game, according to ESPN's FPI, to a 75% chance to win the game on that one play. And it brought back 2000 memories because Kip Lewis is number 10, like Torrance Marshall. Instead
Yeah.
of Rocky Kalmus running down the sideline with cowboy collar, you had Danny Stutzman running down the sideline with Kip Lewis with cowboy collar. But man, that brought back some 2000 vibes. That was
Great
Sooner
play
Magic at
call.
its finest.
Great play call, by the way.
Oh,
I
they had
thought.
Yeah.
everyone up in the box. Oh, you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you saw that, you saw Kip come down early. He was down and he's on the line of scrimmage. I mean, you talking about last second backing
Yeah.
out of that thing. I mean, he had quarterback thinking, okay, the box is loaded. I gotta. We're gonna have a quick slant or whatever he was gonna try to pull off. But Kip did a great job of, pulling that disguise off and backing out. I mean, he was actually still almost backpedaling when
He
when the ball came
was.
up on him, and then for him to gather his feet and pick up some speed and get down there because I don't know who that was, that receiver. That receiver came out of nowhere, man.
He did.
He was motoring, and actually I think he helped Kip get into the end zone, to be honest, there at the end.
He
But
Yeah.
drove it in. Yeah.
I
yeah,
think he did.
but what a fantastic friggin' play, man. That was awesome.
Hey, were the fans nice to you as you left the stadium? Were they still pretty nice? Or
Yeah, you know what? They didn't say anything, man. They emptied out, and they were in disbelief and shock. Dude, we were so far up in the. I'm talking about we were up in the east, northern corner of that. We were way up there, and
yeah.
I'd never seen so much orange leave a stadium. Except for last year at Texas. That was about
That's
that was the last time. But yeah, they were
that's right.
good, man.
Hey, that jumbotron or the video board, I think I heard is the biggest in the SEC at the
It may
stadium.
be. I can't comment if it is or not yet. I haven't been to, I've been to a
Yeah.
few of those venues, but yeah, I tell you what, it was nice, very nice.
Hey, what would you say about the defensive performance overall? I saw a comment from Michael about they got it together fourth quarter, played really good. He mentioned maybe. Do you think they were tired, or do you just think they were getting allowing yards,
Played
but
35 minutes though, Jay.
and they played a lot? I mean, just overall thoughts on the defensive play for this game.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dane's the captain, and those guys. Dane didn't have his best game. Uh, no, he'll be the first. They'll be the first to. There's no excuses. But when the effort that they put into Tennessee, and when you're getting doubled up on time of possession, it is going to start to weigh on you, man. When everybody says SEC, man, it's just you're going against 320, 343, every time. But that's not an excuse. It's just they just got to do a better job. There's some things to clean up, and when you get a little tired, you start trying to, tackle with your arms. You miss them. You're getting washed down. You're not fighting off the block as you should. I mean, anybody if you're watching football and you can see that happening. I mean, it doesn't take much to understand what's going on. But hey, but one thing is the whole team just kept punching, man. And when you're just
Hmm.
punching, when you're throwing haymakers, man, you're going to land it. All it takes is one shot, and you can knock
Yeah.
the guy out, right? So they always, that's one thing you're never going to see is a quit. There's just no quit, and no matter what the game situation might be or how it's going, yeah, I can tell you those guys aren't going to quit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
The bye
switched
week.
up. They switched up. Zach Alley and BV and company. Second half went with more. To me, it looked like more mass pressure. Scheme wise was different. Now Auburn, though, for people to say that Auburn's offense, I mean Auburn 6.2 yards of carry going in that game. That was the top in the SEC running attack, and they had some gashes. That running
They've
back
just
is
turned it
physical.
over. They've turned it over. That's their problem.
That's been their issue, and it finally
Yeah,
happened at the fourth quarter. But they're a physical team.
that Auburn team is that's not a bad team. I mean, they just when you turn the ball over, look what happened against us in the bowl game with Arizona, right? You turn the ball over, it's gonna be tough to win, and that's not because they don't have talent or they don't have a good game plan. It's just it was a crucial mistake, and then we stepped it up. We got energized off of that, and the offense hit some big plays, and it will be yeah, it would be really cool for this bye week to get a few more guys back.
Perfect time. Yeah.
Perfect time, man. Nobody's more excited about the bye week than Oklahoma, the players and the staff. I'm telling you that.
Hey,
Yeah.
Greg God, I got to get Greg God here real quick, Jay. Says that Auburn team is very bad. Hey, record wise, they're not good.
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze is a very good offensive coach, and the stat was there 6.2 yards. They led the SEC in average yards per rush. And they also, I think, Jay, what were they ranked in explosive plays? Because they had a few yesterday.
They were ranked one in explosive plays in the country. But here's the thing: their issue is quarterback. That's their issue.
Absolutely.
And Hugh Freeze, if you look at the history of Hugh Freeze, when he's got a really good quarterback, he'll score on anybody. I mean, so I think the quarterback's kind of holding back, to be honest. I mean, they put up yards. I mean, they're not gonna. They're probably. I think they'll probably finish lower tier in the SEC, but it's a road win, first SEC road game. It's a big time win going into the bye week with Texas. It's a huge win, and this isn't the Big 12 anymore. Kind of like Steve said. I mean, I, these games it's going to be tough. Every game in the SEC, I think you're looking at the rest of the way probably having a lot of games, if not all of them, within about 7 to 10 points. It's just going to be tight games, man. You got to win them when you get the
Come on,
opportunity.
man. Yeah, you can say what you want. Okay, so I get I don't listen to a lot of that stuff, man. I know what my eyes see, and I know what my experience is, and I'll leave it at that. I know these games are going to be tough, and I know the defense is going to keep us in. I know we're still getting some stuff on. We're gonna. This is how the season's going to be. I mean, you're not going to unless something happens where we're just all of a sudden click and we're out by 20, 21 points. This is how it's going to be, man. It's going to come down to a key possession,
Yeah.
both sides of the ball, man. That's it, man. Look at Kentucky. Kentucky could have beat Georgia. They could have beat, they beat Ole Miss. So, Kentucky's a bad team too. I mean, it's
And,
SEC ball. Anything can happen, man. I'm
and they
telling you,
did it with
man.
the formula that OU seems like is going to go with, which is, look, don't turn the ball over. If OU can start getting a little bit more consistency on offense to keep the defense off the field, and we've seen what happens if OU's defense has a lead and they can pin their ears back.
Yeah.
It's been pretty special. What do you think, man? Trace Ford seems to have really improved over last year.
Well, I think I think they've kind of figured out what some packages for him to use him in, to where to put him on. He's a great athlete. I mean, there's no doubt about that. It's just, what suits him. How can he help the team? And I think they found that, and with that, that energizes a player. Hey, there's some things I can do to help the team, and when you're doing that, and that play gets called, man, it's time for you to step up, and you see that. You've seen that. You've seen some solid play all around. Our Mason Thomas. I mean, my
Oh
goodness,
yeah.
fourth quarter, dude. That's the thing, man. When it's time to shut it down, I mean, those guys shut it down. They weren't going to get a sustainable drive.
No, that's when they needed it most, they got it. And hey, what about there's a couple of guys that I was just excited about as a fan of Oklahoma. JJ Hester getting the big catch. And then the biggest one for me was Zach Schmidt. I'll be the first to say when I saw his post game interview, he's talking about how he's been through the rails the last 2 years. I was probably one of those fans because I was not happy. And look what he does. He comes out there and drills two. That last one was huge to get a 6 point lead instead of three. It was massive. I thought that's a great story for Zach Schmidt, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, sometimes being humbled will put you back on a better path, for
True.
sure. Hey, I love Tyler there. OU's corner. Unless you've played in a game against Texas or have played, yeah, it's just words to me, man.
Hey,
Because
and the
I
same
look
things
at
were
a
said
rivalry
last year.
game.
So.
A rivalry game is you can throw anything. Look at Alabama, Georgia, that game. So I'm
Yeah.
sure everybody's I thought somebody was gonna get abused in that one too. But
One thing to bring up on the corners, there were 2 or 3 deep balls yesterday. Both the two that I recall, the Des Malone on the touchdown pass is right there, just turned his head. They're not really getting busts back there. They just didn't turn their head. Kenai Walker on the other one didn't turn his head, but it's better than what we've seen in the past where there was just a lot of miscommunication or actual busts. So I think that's something positive too. Look, I think if you put a true serum in BV and Zach Alley, they didn't probably think Peyton Thorne was going to be able to throw those balls right. I mean, those balls were dimes. The coverage was pretty good.
no, I agree, man. The quarterback play was good. They had a solid game plan. They took advantage and when those opportunities came up, they cashed in. So I mean, hats off to them. I mean, they played a good they played a good game. It's just we found a way to win, and it's a bottom. At the end of the day, isn't that what it's supposed to be about? I mean, you've got to find a way to
That's right.
win. Got to find a
Yeah,
way to win.
I do
That's
think
right.
I do think that the second half OU allowed the one touchdown was it. I think they said let's bring more pressure so that our DBs aren't having to guard either double move, and it worked. They got more pressure in the second half, put some pressure on Thorne. But
Hey,
Ewers, they're talking about Ewers. I tell you what, Manning's looked really good, Jay. I know we got 2 weeks to break that game down, but if Ewers looks bad early, Texas fans going to be hollering.
hey, you know what, Jerm? Here's the deal. And I know there's a lot of Texas people in here, and that's great. But I don't really take anything leading up to this game with a grain of salt because last year I heard the same thing all week was that OU is going to get torched by Texas. I just remember they had first and goal from the inch yard line. They're still trying to get in. So,
Well, look at Auburn had the same situation early, and
yeah,
they got turned away. I mean, anything's going to happen, man. That's the beauty of football, man. Anybody can talk, but the smack stops when you hit the field, and that's when it gets settled.
Hey,
Boganowski got in. Boganowski got in
Boganowski.
yesterday. I think RSJ went out
Yeah.
after that helmet to helmet. Boganowski came in and just pretty much flattened the guy. I thought that was good to see. David Stone got in for a play. A lot of guys played again on defense. A lot of guys.
Yeah.
Hey, one matchup on the Texas thing that's going to be fun to watch: Kelvin Banks against R&T. That he hasn't allowed a quarterback pressure, a quarterback nothing. I mean, he's been really good for them on the offensive line. That'll be a good matchup. 2 weeks to prepare, but you got Steve Sarkisian, who's a great offensive mind. You got Brent Venables and them, who are great defensive minds. They're going to have schemes for each other. I think it's going to be great build up for 2 weeks, and they'll both come with stuff that'll work for a little bit. And you got to make it's going to be to me, it's going to be how you adjust during the game at this game, and then like we talked about earlier. You can scheme all you want, but at some point they're going to have a man versus your man, and who's going to make the play. That's go watch the Georgia Alabama game. That Ryan Williams guy, 17-year-old. Those defensive backs for Georgia, they looked almost like they were lost on those balls, and they were right. They were good coverage. I mean, so you got to make the play. That's what it comes down to, man.
It looked like that somebody was controlling that kid with a controller, a video game.
He's good, isn't he?
Holy cow, man!
Yeah, Steve. What's more important, and maybe they're both equally. You got a bye week. It comes at a great time. Is the bye week better for scheming or better just to get some nicks and bruises healed up?
I'll be honest. I think it's better to get nicks and bruises healed up, man. Get a little mental flush. Get some extra treatment. This time to reflect on what's going on, and then go from there. But yeah, definitely. I mean, scheming can. Those guys know how to scheme in a week, so you don't need 2 weeks to put in a game plan.
Did OU do anything differently communication wise since it was a road game? Was it a loud environment as far as Danny communication, and did they do different hand signals, or are they kind of doing what they've done all year?
Yeah, he didn't say anything different. I think they've on that side of the ball did everything. Nothing special. Now I think on the offensive side, you saw they were silent count. There was no verbal because that crowd was loud. So I thought the offense handled that pretty good.
Yeah, what did you think offensive line wise this game? They got some guys back. I thought Jake Taylor, for not playing much this year, I thought he played really well.
Yeah, it's fun. I talked to his dad before the game, man, and he was I think what was he listed as questionable, probable, something on that
probable.
But he's like, hey, I'm going. Whatever it takes to get me on the field. He probably wasn't 100%, but get back in there and let those guys get some. That 5, let them get some playing time together.
That's
man.
what they need.
That's what they need. It's a little gel. Get everybody, everybody on the same page.
Yeah,
I see all these comments coming in here about OU Texas. It's going to be a fun 2 weeks.
It's going to be a fun 2 weeks, man. Let me tell you. Hey, was that stadium though? You mentioned earlier, out of the road trips this year, specifically with that, you got Ole Miss and then LSU. I think those three are probably, as an OU fan, are I mean, nobody probably cares about Missouri, but Auburn. That's one of. I mean, the Eagle flying out of there. How cool was that? Was it cool to see in person, or is that just?
No, man, that was pretty cool, man. To see him do a lap around the stadium and then finish up right there on the 50-yard line. It was that was pretty special, man.
Does it feel like? Do you think now that you've been to a road environment like that, Oklahoma, they still got a ways to go?
Yeah, no. If you're an Oklahoma fan, you went there, you'd be like, "Oh man, this is a whole nother level." And Oklahoma can have that. You open up some other areas for tailgating. You do some things to get the crowd fired up. We're right there. So absolutely. It was just to be able to see it and go, okay, all right, I get it now. I get it. That's it. This is what we're talking about.
Yeah, college football has some awesome pageant. Yeah, there are a lot of awesome pageantry traditions. You talk about SEC physicality. The fact that OU has played I mean, a lot of guys on defense. I think that's something they've kind of been waiting for. This year, they seem to be doing it. Although I think Danny played more snaps this game than Tennessee, I believe. Correct?
Yeah, no, yeah. Tennessee was a whole different scheme, man. So they had there was a whole different responsibilities, and then they had, yeah, he did a lot more rotating. But yeah, this game he played the mic and the wheel almost
Mhm.
the whole time. So
Which is
uh,
so hard to do both. That just seems like that's a lot to do both, but he's doing it well, man. I mean, so
yeah, he's doing it. Like I said, again, he won't. He did not have his best game, and we had a talk after that. He knows that, and hey, all he's going to do is put some more work in and get better, fix what he knows, he needs to do better at.
Did he have a stat? It looked like he just has a mustache through the helmet. Had the
And
cowboy, or is
I
it
don't know
is it
what
a goatee?
I don't know what that kid does, man, all the time. I think it was the goatee, to be honest. He have a beard, goatee. I don't know what's going on under
It
there,
was a
man.
good look there in the helmet, though. I loved it.
So,
It was good.
yeah,
Johnny out there in California surgeon. That's right. Appreciate it, Johnny. Appreciate you, bro.
yeah, awesome.
Hey, this is a great 2 weeks to have off. I mean, it's gonna be a great build up. You can probably get a lot of golf in the next 2 weeks, Steve.
I'm gonna definitely get some more golf. I'm looking forward not to travel, just to relax and watch some football. I
That'll
haven't
be
even looked at
nice.
I haven't even looked at what's on slate for the weekend, but it's gonna be nice to sit around and watch a few of those marquee matchups.
Oh yeah. Did you guys, Jay? You mentioned the 2 weeks to Texas. We talked about the bye week. I know there's already going to be, or there already was yesterday, a Texas guy already making comments. I hope that I just got to ask you because you played, and this is either a myth or it's true, Steve. Does bulletin board material matter?
You know what? I think back in the day it did, because you didn't get as much information as you do today, right? We see
Yeah.
it's almost like these guys are desensitized to what they see um, on Twitter or Instagram. It just flows in and out. Where, back when I was coming up, if somebody you saw it in the paper, oh my God, you could actually cut it out, and that's where it came from, right? Bulletin board. Man, these kids don't know what the hell you're talking about. Bulletin board. What is that? What are you talking about? What the hell's it? They don't even know what a newspaper is. But I think they're just desensitized, to be honest. But yeah, if you're talking about the freshman in the interview, right? Is that
Yeah.
what you're
Yeah.
referring to?
Colin
Yeah,
Simmons.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure there are going to be some. I'm sure they know about it, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know how much they're paying attention to it.
Well, and he walked it back pretty quickly after he said it. I mean, he was. I
Well, I'm sure Sarkeesian, the staff still, like, just like you guys, we all know what bulletin board material is, and there's no reason, there's no reason to give anybody any extra motivation,
That's right.
with this game coming up.
That's right.
Yeah.
TikTok is the newspaper
Yeah.
now. It gets out a lot quicker than the newspaper did. I see people talking about Danny leading even when he wasn't playing his best. Still a leader, absolutely, yeah. Leader of the defense, heart and soul, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Steve. Well, we want to say thanks again, man. I know your schedule's busy, and you have been so faithful to commit to coming on there on Sunday nights. I know the viewers love hearing from you, your viewpoint. You're at the game, just the environment, thoughts on the defense, all that. So we appreciate it, and
Big time.
be safe there in Florida. Hope you guys don't get a lot of weather your way. I don't know how close you are to all that, but
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. I mean, Orlando's right in the middle, unless it just comes right up the middle of the state. We just kind of get those outer land bands, so we got some wind and rain, so it's really not bad. But hey, I will say this. I got my horns down, so I sported that thing. I wore it to the game. I wore it on the flight. Wore it home today. I don't have it on now, but I had it on all weekend, man. So
Nice.
I had somebody in the airport today go, "Hey, man, you got that thing? It's supposed to be the other way." I go, "No, it's not."
That's
But
right.
no,
That's
awesome,
right.
man. So sporting the merch, and appreciate you guys having me on.
Thanks,
yeah,
Steve.
thanks,
Appreciate
Steve.
it big time.
See you next time.
All right, you got it, guys. Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye bye.
That's right. It's 9:54, and Texas still sucks. I know there's been a lot of comments here. Big thanks, man. Big thanks to Steve for joining us. Man, I thought told it like it is. Great God,
I think that was a miss. I think he was saying, yeah, and people say
he was being sarcastic about
Yeah.
people who say Kentucky's bad.
That's what he was saying, and that's fine. I mean, hey, what's funny is,
Hey, the fact of the matter is, Jay, I said this on a video that we're putting out about the defense. Tennessee and Auburn, debatably, two of the best offenses in the SEC, Jay. Is that a bad statement? I don't think it is.
I don't think Auburn's as close to Ole Miss. I don't think they're as good as Alabama. I don't think they're as good as Tennessee.
Now, Alabama's there with what they're doing right now, Jay.
Yeah, and Max Todd, a new Bama fan here. Appreciate you joining the channel. Why are the Texas fans constantly bringing up the past? Is this an OU Texas thing? It is. I mean, I think I think sometimes Texas fans bring up OU. It's just a rivalry. But hey, Bama's the new number 1 today. Look at that.
Bama is the new number 1. OU moves to 19. Hey, Gray God, what's bad? Hunter, AI Hunter, can you drop the yardage of where Auburn's offense was ranked? And by the way, Ole Miss's offense didn't look great against Kentucky. Struggled.
Yeah, they didn't look good at all. They didn't look good at all.
Missouri's offense has not looked near as good as Auburn's.
I don't know if Lane Kiffin's been on TikTok too much or what, but they didn't look very good.
Jay, point is, Hugh Freeze is an elite offensive mind. That's what I mean.
Auburn is 23. Auburn is 23.
Is that after yesterday or going into the game? They had 482 yards of offense.
Hey, let me say something. Let me say something right now that bothers me, okay? This is about OU fans. I'm an OU fan. I'm going to say what bothers me about OU fans and Texas fans. You ready for it? I cannot stand it. I despise it. I despise it when OU fans do horns down when they're playing a different team. I could care less. You're not playing.
I hate it too.
Texas fans will do OU fans do the horns down when they're playing Kansas. The camera rose to them. They go, ooh, I don't like that.
All I know is, Tyler, I see a lot of Texas fans on here. I hope this channel gets plastered with some Texas fans because I'm not running and hiding. I'll embrace it as long as you're clean on here and not vulgar. Bring it.
Hey, here's the thing. It's always this way in this rivalry. A lot of people talk before the game, and then a lot of people have to eat crow after the game. So, as I've gotten older, I've talked less smack because I've had to walk through that before and eat it, and I don't like doing that. I think this game, honest opinion right here from an OU fan, is I think this game is going to be very hard for Oklahoma to win. Can they win it? Yes. Oklahoma's got to play very well. They got to play better on offense than they've played all year. Now, I do think this. Brent Venables will have a great defensive game plan, and I think their defense will play really good. So I think it'll depend on how many plays the offense can make. I do think this will be a close game. Like I said earlier with Steve, I think the rest of the games going throughout the year will be fairly close games. I would say a possession, 7 to 10 points, I think would be a max. I think going forward on these games, I think they're going to be tight games.
Chief, we're really promoting this hat now because it's OU Texas week. But yeah, Chief, you can drop them anytime you want. Outside of Maine, only winnable games looks like maybe Missouri. Horrible take.
South Carolina at
home's not as hard as Auburn on the road.
Ole Miss looks beatable.
Mizzou looks beatable. Maine looks beatable. There's 4 right there. Texas is a rivalry game. You never know what's going to happen.
Hey, by the way,
here's what I know. Ewers and Manning will get pressured. That's what I know.
Hey, by the way, great God, you're right on one. You are right that they're going to be tough games to win. I'm not sitting there saying they're going to go 9-3 right now. I'm not saying that right now. I'm saying they're going to be in games to win them. Whether or not they win them, we'll see.
Tennessee was a winnable game.
And I will agree. I will disagree on this. I think LSU's getting it together. I think they're by the end of the year. By the end of the year, the last game, I think LSU with Caden Durham now at running back, Nussmeier's getting better. I look for LSU to get better and better. That game at the last game of the year is going to be tough, especially in depth. That's going to be a tough game to win, guys.
Hey, Hunter, drop in if you.
I got a trivia.
Drop in Texas's rushing attack this year because they've been more pass heavy, but OU's rushing attack has been bad.
I got
And
a
you're right,
trivia.
Odd Future. Going back to the history of this game, the running game kind of tells a story.
Hey, and real quick, I got trivia, but I got to get this done. Dalpost. We've talked about this before. You cannot compare game to games. You can't do it anymore in football. I don't care what UCLA did against LSU. I mean, what about you could say you could say that with a lot of teams. You can't compare them. Okay, I just think it's you can't do that. It's a week by week league now. You got to play good to win. If you don't, you're going to lose. Ask Lane Kiffin. They didn't play well. They lost.
Yeah,
They
we did
lost
a
to
video.
Kentucky at home. Okay.
We
Here's the trivia. You ready for it? Give me
Yeah.
the last year Oklahoma had a bye game before the week before Texas. The last year Oklahoma had a bye week the week before Texas. See who can get this.
Did you find this, Jay?
AI found it for me. Hunter.
Hey, I'm curious for Gray God because someone said Gray Bad. It's Gray God, but Gray God, I'm curious. Were you impressed with anything yesterday? I'm just curious.
I've not seen the answer yet. It's not 2008 from what Hunter told me. Not 2005. Hunter, you'll have to verify with me. Make sure we pick who gets it first here.
I'm probably getting ready to get ripped with the comment I'm getting ready to make.
Oh boy, here we go.
I don't think it's a draw, Hook 'em Horns, because OU has so many guys on the injured report that I think the bye week really helps them.
No, it's a draw. It's a definite draw.
Scheme wise, it's a draw.
I agree with him. I think it is a draw. And I was going to ask this as a trivia question. I don't know the answer to that one. That would be a great trivia. I have not seen the answer yet.
Lori
there it
got
is.
it.
Lori. 2006, Lori.
Congrats, Lori. And everyone, for Lori's prize, everyone hit the like to appease Lori and how she always is recognizing that. Derek says the Auburn atmosphere was great. Yeah, and Steve said OU's got a ways to go as far as atmosphere. And just like Derek, Steve said the same thing. They welcomed them with nothing but class. That's great to see. Jimmy, here. I'm about to say something that's going to probably get me ripped. And
well, can I say something before you do?
I do not care. I'll take the bashing.
Can I say something before you do that about Seth Luttrell?
Oh,
and
you're going to steal my thunder.
No, I'm going to say something about Seth Luttrell, and then you can go the other direction because I know which probably you're going to go. In watching 5 games, this would be my biggest complaint from the play calling. I feel like they call plays not to lose instead of coaching to win, being aggressive and playing. And maybe that's with the personnel they have. Don't get me wrong.
It may be the purpose.
But I feel like the last 2 games, Tennessee and then Auburn, they get behind and it's like, oh, there's a cool little creative wrinkle. I wish they would. They've had all week. Now they're going to have 2 weeks to scheme for Texas. I would like the first few drives to look really creative and different things. That's just me.
Couple things here. Okay, get ready to rip me. Seth Luttrell is not the major issue at the University of Oklahoma right now on the offensive side. It's the offensive line. I'm going to tell you a couple things. Has Seth Luttrell made bad play calls? Yes, there have been a lot. But if you go to yesterday, go to the 4:37 mark, 3rd and 3, Michael Hawkins, 3rd and 3, Zion Reagans on the right side, runs to 5 yards, 2 yards past the line to gain, turns around. Michael Hawkins looks, doesn't throw it, instead goes off, runs left, short of the first down. Second one, and also on that play, Brennan Thompson had run a short route, and then as Hawkins started scrambling, ran deep. Another one. OU goes gets the field goal in the second half from 14-7 to 14-10 on the Brennan Thompson touchdown. Interference in the end zone. Javonte Barnes had ran a nice seam route. I saw 5 or 6 plays. If you go rewatch it, scheme wise, they're in the passing game alone. There are guys there, and Seth said it in the post game. Michael Hawkins said it. I think that will be better, but there were some things there. The offensive line is not giving him any time for anything to develop. I agree. That's bad. It's killing the offense. And then you have setbacks with penalties. To me, it's unfair to say this is all on Seth Luttrell.
Listen, I'm not saying it's all on Seth Luttrell. I agree with you on the O-line. I agree on the O-line thing, Jeremy. They haven't been good. Maybe if you get consistent 5 guys, they can start looking better. I do agree with Mess here a little bit. Run outside. That's if you want to have the biggest complaint I have right now with the play calling would be they continue to try to run it up the middle. It's not there, not
Well, I
behind
tell you what
Hickman.
they wanted to do yesterday, Jay. They kept trying to run it over the left middle. Who is that?
Sexton.
They think Sexton's their best guy. That's who they're running behind.
Hey,
Sexton and Tarquin. That's who they're running behind.
who's going to the game on here? Anybody going to the game on here? Yeah, run it outside. They're
I
successful
like
there,
the outside run better.
and especially with Hawkins. I mean,
I'm also going to say this. I know the RPO went out and everyone was happy. I'm
with you.
I, for one, would love to see Michael Hawkins have the ability to pull it out every now and then, because to me, that's going to open up the running game. Listen, Hawkins had 14 carries, and probably only 5 of those were designed, and they were QB draws, which, by the way, the QB draw can be really effective with him. But to me, I think he's got to pull a couple out and get to the outside to keep the middle running game kind of as an issue.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people saying they'll be at the game. Hey, I saw this comment from KB Longhorn. I agree with this. You'll get outside. Running sideline to sideline will be tough against him. What is this? What is their linebacker's name? It's so freaking fast. Freshman last year. I just drew a blank.
Who?
Freshman last year at Texas. Stud. Golly, I'm very disappointed in myself. I'm getting all there. It is.
Hill?
Anthony Hill. Anthony Hill. Thank you. He's a stud. He's very fast. This is going to be. I think this is going to be a grudge match. I think it's going to be a tight game. When was the last? Well, take away 49-0. Nobody wants to talk about that. You've had a lot of great games recently that have come down to the very end. I think this is another game that's probably going to be that way. So we can talk smack all we want in the next 2 weeks. Texas fans can too.
Odd Future says
I think it's going to be a tight game.
Fastest line there is Binda, not Hill.
Great play call. Great play call.
Hey, Zach Alley had everyone in the box. It looked like it was going to be a wide open wide receiver, inside slot receiver slant. And Kip Lewis starts backpedaling, actually kind of stumbles a little, stays on his feet, is able to get the ball, and then from there it's run down the other side. Listen, to me, I know Jackson said he thought the O-line played pretty well. I still didn't.
They were better. They were better,
but they didn't play well.
They're better at pass protection. The run game.
They weren't great at pass protection in the first half. Something happened before the fourth quarter. I'm just saying.
You said that last night. I don't know what you mean by that.
Someone lit a fire in their butts, Jay, because someone mentioned earlier the sea parted on the Barnes touchdown. I know it was only 2 yards, but they were actually taking people down. They were pancakes. He had all day on the pass to Hester, guys. He had all day to throw that ball.
And he looked good.
The only reason it worked.
And that's right, Hookem. I agree with this. It's all in fun. It's all in fun, and it's good times. It wouldn't be the. You know what? I said this last week. 2 weeks ago, we did lives every night like we always do when Tennessee was in here. We had a bunch of Tennessee people in it and made it fun. Even though OU lost that game, it was fun with Tennessee fans. Last week, I think we had one Auburn fan show up. They're just not like Hugh Freeze, I guess. They didn't even show up. Texas fans will show up in here, and that'll be a good time. Yeah,
Jerry,
Kip Lewis
they did it a lot in the first half, and it didn't work. And they switched. And that's what I appreciate about Zach Alley and BV. They made adjustments. And for that matter, I think the offense did as well. Offense scores what? Let's see. 14 points in the second half. Yeah, 14 in the second half. So I think
outscored Auburn 17-7 in the fourth quarter, I believe.
And Jeremiah J, Woo Pig Sue, we got a Razorback on here. By the way,
Jeremiah.
Hey, thefanstop.com, if you check it out, they have Arkansas as well. You can sign up for your team's Shirt of the Month club and get 10% off. If you use code Surgeon, you'll get a new shirt, different design, every single month, sent to your doorstep. Great soft material, different designs. They're great.
Hey, Jeremiah, I'm in the Arkansas area, and I think everybody's it's almost basketball season. They just can't get over that hump winning those close games. It's frustrating.
Chester, I rewatched the game. Here's what my take is on Javonte Barnes, Jay. I know we've had this conversation today. I would say Barnes played really, really tough. I think what you're going to get from Barnes, you guys disagree with me, what you're going to get from Barnes is you're going to get tough, hard-nosed, 2-3 yards, an occasional pop outside where he gets maybe 10 or 12. He has, as Ron says, no vision. There's no cutback. That's me personally.
I do think the vision is probably the one area he probably needs to improve on the most. I would agree with that. I think maybe the best vision guy they got, maybe Sawchuk, but he just can't get through the line. The line's not blocking. And Derek's right about this. Sometimes he does play hard, Greg God, no vision. Derek says Barnes is running into. I think sometimes it's almost to the point of there hasn't been a hole there. I'm just going to get as many yards, 3 to 4 yards. Let's just get 3 to 4 yards. But there's times he can maybe get to the next level. Yeah, Jeremiah, that's going to be a tough game Saturday.
Hey, Greg God and I agreeing on a lot of things, man. What's up? Is it a full moon tonight? DeBoer, hey, you watch what they did. There was nothing like where you went, wow, this coordinator is just, look at the creativity. It's about the O-line in Alabama. They run outside. They run the quarterback some. They take deep shots. The O-line is physical. It's where it starts.
I hope Tatum can play too. Here's the thing. I know they got good DNs. If you're Oklahoma, you heard Michael Hawkins after the game say, they're playing inside leverage on our man-on-man on the outside. We had to take advantage and get one down the field. You heard Seth Luttrell say after the game, when teams are doing that to us all day long, they're basically forcing us. We need to take advantage of it and throw it down the field with more big plays. Against Texas, they're going to have to stretch the field. If you got man-on-man, if it's a jump ball or whatever, you gotta give your guy a chance to catch it and go down the field some, just to open it up a little bit, especially with Hawkins' legs. You can do that and it would open it up.
Selwyn's got a point here, and here's what I want to say. Against Texas, it seems like, in going back to games, I know TJ Pleasure, there's been many. Some running back that really hasn't done much seems to always do something in that game. Is Hicks the guy to do that? I think it's more Tatum because Tatum's going to be back, I think. Hey, listen. I wanted to say something, and it was about the vision. It's right. I don't think it's coachable. Like,
I think it's hard to coach it.
It's hard to coach.
It's almost like the linebackers that have the what is it, like knack or the instinct. It's like an instinct. Some of the linebackers have it.
Hey,
you're right. Hey, but real quick, Jeremiah, real quick. I agree. Arkansas's defensive coordinator is they better pay him or he'll be gone. He's very good, very relatable to the players, young. I love him. I think he's a great defensive mind.
Bobby, is Bobby a Texas fan? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Obviously not an OU fan, but yeah, and I remember last year what happened at Texas. And by the way, I haven't given Mike Hawkins nickname Warhawk, but Jay, when he went, I got a trivia. You remember when he went airborne and did the helicopter?
Yeah.
He done that, like he flipped last week. This week goes helicopter. Jay, I was trying to think of a nickname, and I was wrong. I was thinking of Hawkeye. There was a show, but that's not it. Do you remember that helicopter show? I want to see a trivia question right now. There was a military helicopter show about the same time as
Yeah, I remember it. It was
not
called
Hudson, or what was
it was
the name?
called Magnum
not Simon
PI.
and Simon.
Yeah,
not Simon and Simon, but do you know it? I know it, but I'm seeing it was around that
I'm
same
trying
time.
to remember. I'll think of it.
I got it. Surgeaholic, someone will get it.
I think I can get it here. I just got to try to remember it.
No,
It's
it
not
wasn't MASH. Hunter's too young. There's no way Hunter knows it.
What
It's
was
going
the
to be
name?
someone our age in their upper. There it is. It's Airwolf. Ryan
Airwolf.
Legault
That was a
got
good
it.
show. Airwolf was a good show.
Airwolf was a great show. So was Simon and Simon.
Hey, and I'm with Greg out here. He says, I don't know what to think of J.J. Hester going forward. Lots of drops early, but came up big yesterday. We're going to need a big body like him. Here's what he gives you. Supposedly he's fast. Haven't really got to see it yet. He did blow by the guy on that one. He is also big. They need big guys on the outside. here's what I'll say though, and glad the guy caught the ball. Did you see the bobble? Did you see him bobble it on the deep ball?
I thought when he
It
came down,
wasn't.
he was going to
It
drop
wasn't just. It wasn't just clinging. It was a little bit of.
But he also Greg got, and I agree. He also showed some athletic ability on the hitch catch where he works back to Hawkins as Hawkins is scrambling, which to me shows that he's paying attention. He's coming back to the quarterback. He's able to show his athletic ability, not going down with his knee. That was good. Picked up the first down. Ryan, KU fan here. Did you go to KU? That's my question.
Let's go, Ryan. I mean, we got all kinds of teams on here tonight. Love to see it.
KU, man.
What man? I'm surprised at KU this year. I thought they'd be better.
Jay,
with quarterback back.
Big 12.
What's that?
The hat. Hey, these hats. He's at Hunter. Can you drop? If you go to our Twitter page or our YouTube community page, I put the link in there. But Hunter will drop it in there right now. You can go on. You have to go to thefanstop.com. www.thefanstop.com. There it is right there. Hunter just put it in here. Get on there and order yours today. Or if you're a Kansas fan, I saw your avatar. You can also sign up for Shirt a Month Club for them as well.
Yeah, they missed Farouk Cracker Mac. Not going to lie. They big time miss him. No,
Aaron,
stop.
Aaron.
Stop, Jerm.
He could be. He likely won't be, but he could be because he was out 6 to 8 weeks.
Why would you even get anybody's hopes up like that?
7 weeks.
Stop. They couldn't even get Nick Anderson back.
You guys are
by the way, let me say something.
Could he? He could be.
But let me say something. Nick Anderson. Is it not weird he left the Tennessee game after what? 2 plays? Yet nobody's even brought his name up.
Yeah, something's going on, Jay.
Why haven't they said he's torn this? He's out this many weeks. What is the deal? I just say he's out 3 weeks. I don't understand it.
Do you know why I think he's done?
Why?
There is 0 chance they go to Jacoby Johnson if Anderson's back for Texas.
Then why not just announce it, though? I don't know.
Who is the spammer?
What do you mean?
Chester says, can you block the spammer? I can't tell who it is. I'm not able to follow.
I can't tell either. Sorry for dumb question. What do you see Hawkins do that? Okay, what do you see Hawkins do that Jackson Arnold does not do? Don't get me wrong. Hawkins was and is amazing. I'm just wondering how to. Here's what I think. There's a few things that Hawkins does, in my opinion, that's better than Jackson Arnold. One is I think he's better at making decisions from what I've seen so far. The other one, the guys, I don't know how to put it. The guy's got like an it factor. He does. We don't do hypotheticals, Jeremy. I know I ripped you for this the other day. But after rewatching that game yesterday, I think if Michael Hawkins is not the quarterback and Jackson Arnold is, I think instead of having 2 sacks, I think they probably have 5 or 6. And I think they might have 2 to 3 turnovers. I think he was very poised.
Hawkins just ate it.
Very poised in the situation. And he's got a lively arm. I know people say, "Oh, he's a runner." He's got a very lively arm. I watched him in high school. I think all that.
Bauer Sharp, Jay.
What's that?
The missile to Bauer Sharp on the slant was an absolute missile.
Also, the rollout throw to Hester, great throw. I mean, he's got some. I mean, he's a good
what
quarterback.
Was he clocked that on the TD run? 4.340. I mean.
Oh yeah, that's for sure, man. He can run a lot faster than Jackson.
Absolutely.
And another thing. He has something about him that gets guys I mean, he was getting in the guys on the line and just punched us in the end zone. It was like, man, looked like he was ready for that moment.
Now, I will say maybe where Arnold was slightly better and it ended up costing Arnold is Arnold was pretty good when the ball was snapped at hitting that quick hit. And yesterday, Hawkins was hesitant. I think that will come as he plays more.
Oh, I think they probably preached to him all week. Brent Venables, after the 3 turnovers in the first half against Tennessee, was probably preaching
that.
Do not turn the ball over. Eat it. Whatever you have to do. We're on the road. You cannot turn the ball over. I mean, that's probably true. I see a lot of good stuff in here about that comparison. The hair, better hair. You know what's funny? I thought was kind of interesting. on the broadcast, and you hear it all the I say let's stop comparing them to Chuck. Let's hey, what I thought was interesting, they showed his dad like probably 10 times, and they kept saying Mike Hawkins played for Bob Stoops. You know who the defensive coordinator was? I mean, Brent Venables. They never even like mentioned it that he played with Brent Venables as the coach. It seems like it's always he played for Bob Stoops, but Brent Venables calling that defense. I mean,
I have a question for everyone on here that's been bugging me since the post-game presser yesterday. I'm going to ask everyone, the Surgeonholics right now. Is there something that stood out that BB said that bothered you yesterday?
no.
There's something. I heard the post-game presser and I thought, I'm wondering why he said that.
I know what you're talking about. Hey, all that is him trying to not just throw shade at Jackson Arnold, Jeremy.
No, that's not. What?
What?
What? Has nothing to do with Jackson Arnold, Jay.
I thought that's what you were talking about.
No.
Then I misunderstood. Okay, go tell us what you're talking.
You didn't misunderstand. I haven't told you yet.
I'm not telling. Jeremy, I know. Wait.
Jeremy, he said at the very beginning. Stop. He said at the very beginning of the press conference, first time as Sooner Magic as head coach. OU Texas last year? Was that?
I think he meant defensive side of the ball.
Because I thought Sooner Magic happened against Texas last.
I thought you were talking about something else.
I thought that was interesting. Maybe they didn't consider last year Sooner Magic. I thought last year was Sooner Magic against Texas. So that's why I was confused on it. That was what I was saying.
You know what? That's a great topic. What exactly is Sooner Magic?
That would be something we tackle the next 2 weeks, Jay.
What is Sooner Magic?
And Hunter, I think that's what I think they thought they would go down there and score, even with that like the 2-minute drive. It was. I agree. The ball was in their hands. The destiny, they had control of it. I think that's what he meant too. But a lot of people would say that's so. Jay, would you say last year was Sooner Magic? Clark says no. I
don't consider that drive. To me, Sooner Magic is
only experience.
I think there were people that thought when OU got the ball back, they could go down there and score. I think yesterday that people were like, unless OU gets a turnovers, this game's over. Now you have a lot of people saying Sooner Magic last year, Texas. I would have to define what is Sooner Magic, and I know SEC fans. I've already seen a lot of people on a lot of comments on our live shows and everything after the Sooner Magic graphic. People are tired of Sooner Magic already in the SEC. They don't like it.
I think that's hilarious, Jerry. Jerry, ask Nebraska what Sooner Magic is. Hey, this would be a great topic one night to just talk about. Would Surgeonholics be up for like a whole show devoted to Sooner Magic lore?
You know what? You know what we should do is like a top 10 Sooner Magic moments.
I just
rank
them.
Rank them. What?
Reminiscing on some. No chance, and your back's against the wall. Don't quit, and then something magical happens. Yeah, when you win, when you shouldn't. Last year, Texas wasn't magic; just made the plays and beat them. This year, honestly, there's 4 minutes. It was ticking down. No Sooner fan thought we're gonna. Now, I will say this: the people who are ripping Auburn for passing the ball, to me, is a little weird. It was 3rd and 4.
Yeah. Hey,
like
real
they
quick,
needed a first down to really win the game, and they didn't get it. They felt like passing would be their best choice.
Yeah, real quick. For the Texas fans in here, I'm going to ask you a question before we get off here. We still have about 7 minutes. I'd like your answer. Give us, as Texas fans and Texas people, give us the weaknesses of Texas defense. I can tell you the weaknesses of OU's offense. Offensive line, tight ends, running backs, receivers are very injured at running receivers, so they got a lot of issues on the O line. Maybe they'll get guys back after 2 weeks and playing together. They'll look better. But I'd be interested to know from the Texas fans what the weaknesses are, and please don't tell me there are none. Okay, because then I would say you're a homer. I think every team has weakness somewhere.
Yeah. Hey, couple really good ones. Infidel, Sooner Magic rears its head when opposing teams thinks they got the game. And then I saw someone say that Auburn ran the same play on 3rd and 9 earlier and got it. And that, I love what the hub says. They baited Freeze on that. To me, the chess match, it was checkmate right there. They've been waiting for that alignment, and they brought something different, and they owned Hugh Freeze at that moment. I think that was great.
Now, I do think this, and Dalpos, I think Gray God, I think Eric was one of them in the Discord talking about the defensive backs. If you don't think Steve Sarkisian over the next 2 weeks is going to find where the weakness is on Oklahoma's defense and try to go at it, then you're highly mistaken. Dalpos, I agree. Whoever the weakness is he sees on film, they're going to attack him with their receivers. So I think OU is going to counterattack. What?
Here's what I'll say to Greg God. They have good receivers. They had great receivers last year. Ewers was there, and he didn't carve OU up. If you can pressure the quarterback, it's a game changer.
That's it. You got to pressure him.
OU pressured Ewers all game last year. Ethan Downs had his best game.
If you remember the first few drives last year, they confused him a little bit.
Oh, he threw like 2 picks. I mean,
they confused him a little bit. Now, you had the big hard hit from Bowman at the 3-yard line that caused a pick.
You think Vickers gets in the game? He played at the end of the game. It was mainly to bat down a ball, but you think he's going to get on the roster playing?
Hey, Woody I continually every week think, man, it's almost like you see a bad play happen on defense and you rewind it to see who was covering there, and it's Woody. I mean, I know you disagree probably, Jerm, but
hey, I'm going to say something.
Hey, real quick before you do, I asked a question to the Texas fans. I've not seen an answer yet, so I'm kind of confused.
There's probably no weaknesses. Hey, Chuck, it maybe Soar did ask Stutzman about the cowboy collar. It's a preventative thing when you're going against SEC opponents. It's to prevent mainly prevent things from happening. He played almost the entire game. Him and Bowman played more snaps than anyone. He's not injured, banged up, tired. Maybe I'm not going to answer for that, but I did see where people said other podcasts were saying he didn't have energy. I rewatched the game after I heard that. He had a lot of energy, so I'm not sure about that.
And real quick, I apologize. Guys, I can't keep up with all the comments, so I didn't see them. I just scrolled back through and found them, so I apologize. Kendall Beard said weaknesses, secondary still hasn't been tested, so to be determined. And then I saw KB defensive line, but that's comparing them to Sweat and Murphy. Yeah, they lost a lot with them. The offense is more depth this year. And then Tyler says our ring defense is weak and deep that running back is weak. So, hey, kudos to the Texas fans for answering the weaknesses. Appreciate it. Kyle, that's pretty funny, Kyle.
Hey, Woody liability. Yeah. If Woody plays, he should be in there as a blitzer. A blitzer and a run stopper.
And here's the thing.
What he is right now.
Yeah, and you can live with getting beat once if you're in position and the guy makes a play. When you're talking SEC football, you're going to be going up against some NFL elite receivers, and you're going to be mano a mano, and sometimes they're going to beat you, sometimes you're going to get them. That's just the way football goes. You can't have bust, and you can't be running 3 or 4 yards behind the guy. That is, if you want to say my biggest concern about defensive back going into this game, it would be Kenai Walker in man coverage.
Yeah, Kenai to me is the
Kenai Walker is great within 10 yards. I think speed-wise, I don't think he's the fastest guy when you get going down the field. So I think he loses. If you watch the deep balls, he starts to lose ground. And so I think he's a very physical defensive back, great in the short stuff, great in the man short stuff, great in zone defense. Kenai Walker's a great zone defender at cornerback.
Hey,
I think you can get him deep.
Tyler, I agree with you. I think in OU's case, with the injury bug, now I will say this, it really hadn't helped him. Like, I don't know who's going to be back. I don't even know if I'll believe it until it happens, but they do need, look, they have played Tennessee and Auburn back to back, and even the non-con, because of their own fault, they've had a lot of emotionally physical games. They need 2 weeks off, and they got it.
Hey, God, Guns, and Ammo, appreciate you hopping in here to say that. Appreciate it. Thank you. if the Auburn fans would have shown up in the lives like the Tennessee fans, they were big time. Tennessee's got Arkansas this week on the road. I think they win that. Tennessee's in the playoff. I would be shocked if they're not there. I think right
Never
now,
know,
looking at the SEC, maybe we end on this. Looking at SEC playoff wise, I think you got a few that are pretty much. I would be shocked if they're not there.
You think Bama and Georgia are locks?
I think Bama. I think no. I think Bama's a lock. Probably.
Georgia's
I think,
a lock.
Let me.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I said I was going to say mine. You could say yours, but let me finish here. Alabama, Texas, Tennessee. I think those three are going to be in the playoff. Now, and you notice I didn't say Georgia. I think Georgia loses at least 2.
They're in with 2.
And I think they might lose 3, Jeremy. I
They're
do.
In 3. They're in with 3. They're Georgia.
Then they're in. Then they're in. So that's 4. Then they're in. So
I will
that's
agree
4.
with what Hunter said. I will say this, though. If OU was to find a way to beat Texas, and then Texas goes to Georgia and loses, I've seen Texas do that before, Jay.
And Chuck, yeah, that's true, Jerm. Chuck, you may be right. The Tennessee fans found us somehow. I don't know how, but we're glad they did. But I think Auburn fans too. Let's compare them. Tennessee was on a very high. They're top. They haven't lost. They're top team in the nation. They're one of the top teams. Auburn's struggling. They want Hugh Freeze gone. So there's that too.
Yeah, Georgia does go to Texas. That's right. Hey, with 3 losses, OU's in with 3 losses. OU will be in with 3.
Here's the thing:
if OU were to somehow find a way to go 9-3, they're in the playoff.
Well, I think Jeremy. Nobody knows it's 9-3 because there's too many teams that can be jam packed, and it's going to be who beat who beat. I mean, I would think they get in, and I do with the schedule they have.
We can't even talk about that right now. That only happens if they find a way to beat Texas.
But they're talking about Georgia. Georgia at 9-3, I think, is what Chuck is saying.
Yeah, huge if. I agree, huge if. Yeah. So hey, listen. Big kudos to Steve Stutzman.
KB, wait, real quick. I gotta
wait. Yeah, talk to that comment, Jay.
KB,
You're absolutely wrong, KB.
KB, the SEC is going to get 5 teams. You're telling me the SEC is going to have 5 teams that are 10-2 or better? No chance.
No chance. The Big 12 is likely getting 1, and the ACC. I mean.
1 and 1 and 1. Wait. 1 from the Big 12, 1 from the ACC, 1 from the Group of 5. That leaves 9.
5 and 4. It could be 6 and 3.
I think it'll be 5 and 4 probably. If you had to get
now, the only way 5 teams.
The only way it's different is if it was 4 and 4, and then like the ACC were to get 2, or the Big 12, or if Notre Dame were to do something. I don't think Notre Dame's going because I think they're losing another game. So
they'll lose another game. Absolutely, yeah. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. A lot of time before then, but big thanks to Steve Stutzman around his travel schedule. Big time to come on with us. Appreciate everyone that joins us each and every night. Please check out the Fan Stop at thefanstop.com. It is OU Texas for 2 weeks talk. Can't wait. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe. Have a fantastic Monday. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you so much for the super, Chris Rhodes. Appreciate you very much.